Okay, hello everyone, and welcome back to World of Tanks Blitz. I haven't played or done anything really in Blitz for a while. I've just finished recording gameplay of this thing, Loza's Sherman, which I got ages ago, and then promptly didn't do a review on it, and have mostly lost interest in actually playing Blitz for the most part. I do occasionally jump onto it and see what's happening, but yeah, for now, I'm going to do a review of Loza's Sherman now that I've had some play with it and see what it's like. Overall, it's pretty much just a 76 Sherman. To cut the long short of it, it's just a more accurate 76 Sherman. So as you can see, they've changed it all. There's the old sort of characteristics. Here's the new characteristics. So 920 HP, nothing too spectacular there. Pretty much standard medium tank health pool. I mean, the Fury's got, what was that, 980, pounds of 4, 950, the Victory 930. So yeah, continuing with Russian mediums, it doesn't have a lot of HP. Lots of other medium tank statistics do overrule it in that aspect. As for armor as well, 63 frontal turret, all around actually for turret, 63 frontal hull, 38 side and rear. Yeah, no side scraping. I said in my gameplay that you could try and side scrape it with it, and yes, you can try, but you will certainly fail against anything other than, I don't know, a 30mm autocannon, but even that can probably get through the sides of this thing. It's a Sherman. What more do you want? The Easy 8, for example, again, slightly better front, worse side for the turret armor, and the hull is the same as well, because, you know, it's the same hull pretty much. The Easy 8 is just slightly different in terms of hull, and it has got a slightly better frontal turret, but this is pretty much just a 76, like I keep saying. So, yeah. Armour, nothing too spectacular. Unlike the Schmalterm, which has got, 50 at the front of the hull, which is not amazing, but then 120 right at the front of the turret there, which is very good, with a very large, nice-looking gun mantlet. You know, the Cromwell is a Cromwell. You know, nothing much more can be said about that. It's all over the place. And the T-34 is just a T-34. So yeah, this is just another aspect of the Sherman. So armour is nothing too amazing. Chance of foreign impact, 15%. Yeah. Again, we'll go over that. View range, yeah, nothing too spectacular. Manoeuvrability, 48 kilometers per hour top speed, compared to, you know, the Fury, which we'll now have a look at. Fury 42, so yeah, nothing too amazing there. T-34, 85. The Victory, 54. The Schmalterm, I think, is probably going to be the slowest thing out of here. No, even that's got 44. You know, the Cromwell, and then of course we've got the Sentinel, but the Cromwell is a cruiser tank, so it does have a better top speed. So, yeah, top speed, nothing too amazing. Average speed, 29, yeah, whatever. Power to weight, 14 kilometers per hour, not too bad. 14 kilometers per hour, 14 horsepower to ton ratio. Again, comparing it to the Easy 8 to the Fury. 15.1, so the Fury is better going uphill. The Cromwell will probably beat it. The Schmalterm has got, what is it, 14.5, so it's got the same sort of power to weight as the Schmalterm. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind, just over 30 tons. Turret reverse, 43.81, hull reverse, 41.72, again, not too bad. You can probably get away with not side scraping, circle or strafing. Heavy tanks, yeah, nothing too out of the ordinary there. Again, pretty much standard Sherman behaviour. 420 horsepower with this, what is it, Chrysler? No, General Motor Corporation or whatever that is. 6046A engine. Again, yeah, 15% chance for an impact. Yeah, nothing too spectacular there. Again, pretty much all standard Sherman characteristics, but then we come to the gun. The gun has got a just over 5 second reload time, which is not too bad compared to the Furies. 5.10 second reload time, so it does have a ever so slight bonus over the Furies reload time. Compared to the 75mm of the Cromwell, which has got 4.9 second aim time, so the Cromwell is slightly better in that regard. But yeah, so again, pretty standard 76mm in terms of pen and damage. 128 with AP, 177 with APCR, 20 with HE. Average damage with AP, 160, 135, 200 with APCR and HE. But then we come to the accuracy, which is the biggest part of this Sherman, which sets it out. It is pretty much the only defining factor of Loza's Sherman here, which is that it's the most accurate Sherman gun, I would imagine. If I was to have a look at the 76 in the actual American tech tree, or in fact there is no Sherman 76 in the American tech tree, it is just the Easy 8. And if we have a look at the Easy 8's top gun here, and we look at, where do we want dispersion, there you go, dispersion at 100 meters is 0.38 with a 4.3 second aim time, with the best gun available to it. And if we look at Fury has also got a 4.5 second aim time with a 0.38 accuracy, so it is the most inaccurate 76mm gun out of all of the Shermans that you can get. But then we come to Loza's Sherman, and that has got a better aim time, 3.7 seconds, and it has got 0.3 dispersion, which is very accurate. It is a highly accurate 76mm gun mounted on this Sherman, and the standard -10 plus 20 degrees gun depression elevation angles. But yeah, that dispersion and aim time is definitely the thing to be watching out for, so enhanced gun aim drive is definitely something that you'll want to be mounting on this tank. So an overview of the basic stats of the Sherman. It's just a Sherman. It's just an M4 Sherman, up-tiered, with a more accurate gun. If we go back to the Sherman, go back to the M4, have a look at the top gun on this. I'm still lost with this new system. Dispersion 0.41, so yeah, the M4 with the 76. It's just an M4 with the 76, but slightly better. So that's the overview of it. So let's move on now to the consumables. You've got your standard repair, first aid, fire. You've got engine power boost, 15-second duration, 75-second cooldown, 20% engine power, and then you've got your standard adrenaline, 20% to low speed, 10% chance of damaging enemy vehicle modules, and then you've got your multi-purpose, all three rolled into one. Again, pretty standard there. As for provisions, you've got your standard and improved fuel for 3 and 10% respectively to engine power, turret traverse. Then you've got condensed milk and extra combat rations for 3 and 10% respectively to crew mastery. Then you've got your protective kit, 15% protection and crew from injuries, 10% speed and mod repair, 20% fire protection, and 10% ammo fuel tank durability. So yeah, again, you got all of that, which you can go ahead and mount 90 rounds of ammunition to play around with. So yeah, you got plenty of mix and match that you can do there. You're never going to use it all in a battle, so there's something to note. You can fill it up with as much high explosives as you want, and you'll never run out of it. So yeah, you've always got that, so you can go ahead, mount that up as you want, and then you've got your equipment. So gun rammer is probably going to be something that you want. You could go with calibrated shells. That's really a toss-up to you. I think gun rammer is going to be more effective, but the extra armor penetration that it gives for calibrated shells is going to be very nice. But yeah, gun rammer could be nice to get that reload time to over 5 seconds, because otherwise it would be less than 5 seconds. And then improved modules for the extra track and fuel tank and ammo durability. And you also get -10 damage from HE with a caliber larger than 30mm, than 130mm. Very interesting. But yeah, so that's new. Oh, so is that. Those bottom stats, I didn't know they added those. Doesn't really matter though, because we're looking at that top stat, which is what I basically go with all of this from, because that is the main thing, the extra durability on those things, which is very useful. And then improved optics. Now the thing with this Sherman is that you can either go with the typical medium tank build, which is pretty much circle strafing, regular Wolfpack medium tank sort of thing, but because this is a very accurate gun, in fact it's probably the most accurate gun mounted on a medium tank at tier 6. If we have a look at the Sentinel's gun, 0.34 accuracy, not quite as good as Loza's Sherman. It's probably got better penetration though. Yeah, 145. Because this is the most accurate gun pretty much, other than the Schmalterm. No, Schmalterm is... actually, yeah, Schmalterm is probably a good competitor, but if you wanted something Russian compared to a Schmalterm, if you wanted this for some reason, then you can go with a sniper build for this if you want, in which case you go with calibrated shells, you go with camo net, and then I don't think anything else would much make a difference other than maybe vertical stabilizers or refined gun. But then if you go with those set up instead of the other one, then you know you'll help with that. So yeah, but otherwise, if you're going to go with the standard medium tank build, which is probably what I'm going to go with, then you'll probably consider doing the following. So yeah, coated optics for the better view range, and then enhanced gun lane drive for just a better aiming time um, over the 3.7 seconds. You can instead get 3.4 seconds, which is good for a sniping tank such as the gun that's mounted on this Sherman. You could alternatively go with supercharge if you wanted, but again, you sacrifice that aim time to get to that 0.3 seconds, or that 0.3 dispersion. Don't bother with enhanced armor, it's an M4 Sherman. So instead go with improved assembly for the extra HP. And then I'd say engine accelerator to get a better power to weight ratio, because you don't really need 45 degrees per second hull reverse, especially not if you're going for a sniper build. So engine accelerator is probably going to be the one for you. You don't really need refined gun, you're 0.3 accuracy anyway, so 0.27 is just sort of overkill. So instead I would say vertical stabilizers, because, you know, if you're going for either a sniper build or a typical Wolfpack build, this will help you either way. Wolfpack, it means that when you're circling, your shell is more likely to actually hit the armor that you're aiming for when you auto-lock, rather than, you know, pinging off of an angled slope at the top of his turret, for example. But then if you're going for a sniper build, this will help anyway, because as you track a different target, or if you're tracking the same target, you will notice less bloom as you're tracking them. So it helps with either one. So you don't really need refined gun. And then your choice of these two, and then your choice of whatever those two things are. So yeah, overall, what do I think of this tank? It's a decent enough tank, but as I have said, and will continue to say, it's an M4 Sherman. There's nothing much you can do to radically change the Sherman formula unless you stick a massive 105 gun on it, and yeah, give it away somewhere. There's not much you can do to change up the formula unless you do something like this, which is just outrageous. It's unfair. Take a seat, young Skywalker. But yeah, other than that, at tier 6, you're not really going to be able to do anything massively amazing to the Sherman formula that hasn't been done on the Fury, other than giving it to the Russians and fitting a really accurate gun on it. That's the only thing that this tank has going for it. Otherwise, you can pass this up quite happily, unless you want it for the historical value, because this is Loza's M4 Sherman, which is, you know, the whole point of it. I don't think they give you any sort of information on it, or do they? Oh no, that's just for premium vehicles. But yeah, if you want a well-known medium tank that's a Sherman, then there's always Fury on the market at various points. Although if you want the sniping gun of this Sherman, you can get this. You can get this Sherman and go for the really accurate 76mm gun. Failing those two, an Easy 8 will serve you perfectly well. It's an Easy 8 Sherman. It's a decent enough medium tank. There's pretty much no reason to do this unless you're a collector like me, or you like the historical aspect of it, or whether you want the really good gun. That's the only reason you would get the Sherman. Yeah, not a particularly bad tank. It's just a reskin of a Sherman with a different gun parameters. And yeah, that's pretty much the final say on the matter. So yes, I'll thank you for watching, and goodbye.